once in a while we get a car at Roadshow HQ that is just a blast to drive, and this week I got one. It's the 2018 Audi TT RS. It's all-wheel drive, 7-speed dual clutch transmission, and it's got a turbocharger that produces nearly 20 pounds of boost. So I'm gonna ditch this wind and get my butt out to the twisties. The TT comes in the base model or the S model that I drove last year, but this is my first time in the TT RS. Now that RS stands for Rennsport, it's German for racing sport, and yeah, they are not fooling around. A 2.5-liter turbocharged 5-cylinder engine is putting out 400 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. Now, while the all-wheel drive system might default to front-wheel drive while you're just toddling along, you put your foot in it and that all-wheel drive kicks in, giving you maximum grip on all 4 wheels. Plus, when you're in dynamic mode, you can send 100% of the torque to the rear wheels. Magnetic ride dampers give you firmness that can adjust in absolute milliseconds, giving you a really inspired, flat, confident ride. I mean, probably gives me more confidence than I deserve to have, but still, this car is super easy to drive at the limit. Now, if you want to customize your ride, you can just press the Drive Select button on the steering wheel. That's going to let you choose from Comfort, Auto, Dynamic, or Individual, adjusting the parameters for the steering and suspension, the throttle, and the transmission, giving your Audi basically the best ride you could possibly have in every situation. And yes, I just said Audi, deal with it. Now, do I want a manual transmission? Well, yes, of course I do, but I am not gonna get it in the TT RS. Instead, I've got a most excellent 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Now, in regular mode, it's tuned more for fuel efficiency than it is for fun, but all I gotta do is just one tiny little bump back, and it puts me into sport mode, where it's gonna hold my gears longer and downshift eagerly with a nice little rev match at the end. If I want even more control, just bump it all the way over to the right, and suddenly I am in manual mode and I can use the paddle shifters to my heart's content. Shifts are really fast, and I am rewarded with an exhaust note with burps and burbles and all kinds of goodness that just makes me want to take it to the red line 24/7. Now, even if I didn't give a crap about this car's driving dynamics, which I totally do because they're awesome, but even if I didn't care, I might just fall in love with the TT RS for its cabin. You'll notice there's not a lot of buttons. The HVAC controls are integrated right into the vents, giving it a really clean appearance. And there's no screen in the center stack. Instead, it's moved into the gauge cluster with Audi's virtual cockpit. Now, we've got a full review on the technology of the virtual cockpit in a second video, so be sure to check that one out. I've always had a soft spot for 2-seat rear-wheel drive convertibles with a manual transmission. So you'd think that I wouldn't even give the Audi a second look. I mean, it's all-wheel drive, there's only 2 pedals, it's not a drop top, and it's got room for 4. I mean, I guess you could fit 2 other people back there. But it's a lot like dating, right? I mean, if you confine yourself to a very strict checklist, you're gonna miss out on something fun. I mean, the TT RS is all the car I ever wanted. I just didn't know it. The 2018 Audi TT RS is probably the most fun car you could bring up here to these back twisty roads. Of course, you could also have fun with a Porsche Cayman S or GTS and the BMW M2, but those are rear-wheel drive. This baby's got all-wheel drive, which means it can be a daily driver in places that get really bad weather like Colorado or New York. The price for this guy, well, starts at $64,900, and this one's wearing $10,000 worth of options, bringing the price to just a smidge over $74,000. Hey, I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave me a comment. What do you think about Audi defaulting to front-wheel drive here in the TT RS? Let me know.